All right, it is 10 o'clock, so we can go ahead and get started. Thank you guys all for joining today. When we think of town hall topics, we try to do a mix of stuff that will be good for different cross sections of employees. And one of the things that kind of always comes up, I know I get a lot of questions. I know Greg and the rest of the leadership team too gets questions on tech things and just kind of how to use some of our various platforms. So we thought that would be a good topic for today. I have some things, and I apologize, my cat has decided that it is playtime. So I don't know if you can hear her meowing behind me, but I certainly can. Okay, Google's doing its job. So I've come up with a list of things that I wanted to cover, but there is plenty of time at the end for any other tech questions. I know some things, people have different questions on different things. So you don't have to just keep your questions to these topics. We can talk about any type of tech related question you guys have. And if we don't have enough of those or any of those, we can also talk about just other questions. We kind of leave it up at the end of the town hall just for a employee forum type situation. All right, so looking at what we will be covering first today, we will take a look at Google Calendar, the employee feed and the relocation of it, some internal websites that are pre-existing as well as new ones and some coming in the future, Google Drive and some tips and tricks around that, as well as the new Google Computer login that's kind of being slow rolled out throughout the company. Okay, first up is our Google Calendar platform. This has become increasingly important in my mind for the entire team as we've put in our stand-ups, as we've put in the town halls, even like the events that we have going on, as well as team meetings. The Google Calendar is really your hub of keeping track of where you need to be when and all of your meeting info. If it's a virtual meeting, every meeting invite should have on your calendar that link to it. You can also access it through every time you add an event to the calendar and invite someone, it sends you an email. So you can also access the link that way, but you don't have to save all of those emails. As long as you have them in your calendar, you can always go to them. A little tip there before we go into some of the company vacation calendar and out of office uses of calendar. Make sure if you're having trouble with accessing your meetings, what I found out is with working with someone is that if you're logged into both your personal Gmail and your McSteen Gmail account, sometimes even though in the email app you see it as McSteen, when you go over click a link that takes you to the calendar app, specifically on phones and tablets, when you go to the calendar app, it might default to your personal. So if you're having that trouble where you're like, I'm clicking on it through my email and it's not showing up on my calendar, make sure that your profile on the calendar is your McSteen one, because it might be syncing to your personal one. Okay, first up, I am going to show you guys how to add the entire company vacation calendar to your calendar. We get this question all the time of especially because the employee feed kind of changed areas and people are planning vacations and then you're trying to see what coworkers are off to try to kind of help with that planning. There is a way, very easy, to add this to your calendar and then toggle it on and off. So I am going to, in the chat, really quickly send you all this link, and this link will also go out in the email with the video recap afterwards, so you don't have to do it right now, but if you would like to try to follow along or do it after, either way. Hold on, let me get back. So I just sent that. Did everyone, that chat link came through? Cool. Okay, so it is pretty straightforward. Oops, hold on, clicked on the wrong thing. My linking is all right. I'm going to just quickly go through all these slides because my linking broke for some reason. Oh, hang on a second. This is not the most recent version of the presentation. I should have checked that. Technical difficulties during the tech presentation. It's only right.
Is this where it goes off the rails?
No, we haven't even gotten to that point yet. All right, let's see if this works now. There we go. Okay, so this is your calendar. If you go to your calendar page and then scroll down on the side here, there's this little button you can click under other calendars, and you just click this little add button. And then you click from, it'll pop up this menu, and then you click this from URL link. And it'll just take it to here, and that, what I just sent you in the chat, that is what you copy into this URL little spot here. And then all you have to do is come down and click this add calendar. And it'll take a second. You'll get the little confirmation down here. And then when you go back out to your calendar, sometimes it takes a second, sometimes you have to refresh, but it should pop everyone's vacation into your calendar. So you should now see it all there. And then if you don't want to always have that showing, if you scroll down to your other calendars right where you previously added that, you can see this one here, the color matched, you can change the color, and you can press this little check mark box and toggle the calendar view on and off. So you don't have to have that on there, but you can change it around. And then just demoing that you can look at it at a week perspective. If you go into the week perspective, you can also see the time frame that people are off, like if someone's only off for the afternoon. Thank you for all my people who are off. I'm using you as examples. And so you can kind of see it from different views. You can go out in the future. All scheduled and approved vacations will show up on this calendar. No one's off next week if anyone needs some time off. And you can just keep going. Brian, did you have a question?
Nope, you said anybody need time off. I just raised my hand.
I like that. All right, so that is the how to add vacation to your calendar, the company vacation. Does anyone have any questions on that? Cool. I realize that was kind of a quick walkthrough. Again, you'll have this video. This video will go out after this meeting, and you can rewatch, follow along. If you can't get it from the video, feel free to send a message. This is probably the most requested comment or question that we get is like, how do I see everyone's vacation? So you should see that there. Okay. All right. Next one is just a little cool feature that I utilize a lot for Google Calendar. And there might be some use cases for everyone else, so I wanted to share it as well. And that is how to add an either out of office to your calendar or focus time. The cool thing about this is that it shows on so this is slightly different from like what you put your out of office, like your email responder, which I know some people use, and mostly the external facing people use email out of office responders. But this is really cool internally because if you add an out of office or like a focus time when you know you're not going to be available, it shows when someone goes to email you or to send you a chat message internally, it will show a little pop-up at the bottom of the screen saying, Maureen is out of office until this time, or Maureen is in focus time until 4 p.m. or whatever the case is. So I use it a lot just so that like people aren't expecting, like if I know I'm in a couple meetings or have to drive somewhere, so I'm not going to be available for the 30 minutes before and after my meeting, then if someone's looking for me, they kind of know they're not going to get a response right away. So the how-to of that is, Oh, also, I'm using my dad's calendar because he has less events on it than I do. So just an FYI. If you click on an event, this is me just changing to his calendar, and then you click on this little out of office here, instead of event, which is what it defaults to, you can select the dates just like you could for an event, and you see it pops up this little orange, because that's his calendar color, out of office on here. And then when you save it, it just puts you out of office for those 2 days. And you can do that for 1 day. You can do it for a whole week. You can do it for anything. I do it every time I go on vacation. I do my Rippling PTO, and then I also put it on the calendar so people can like see when they're sending me a message that I'm out of office. Again, just showing that you can do it either, you can view it on a weekly basis or not. Just doing it again, that you can do if you're out of office only for an hour or so. You can do it specific times too. You don't have to do it in full day chunks. It functions the same as a meeting, just a different category. For focus time, same exact thing. You just click, instead of event, you click focus time. And then you can, what I like about this is you can also mute chat notifications. So you'll still get the chats, but they won't like pop up at you. So sometimes when I'm just trying to do some like more work and not get interrupted, I will use this feature as well. But it works the same. You just pick your time, make sure your event/focus time or out of office, you're in the right category, and then just add it to your calendar. And like I said, I know I said this before, but can't emphasize enough. What I personally use it for is to is one, for the chat mute notifications, just so that if I really need to focus on something, I can do that and minimize my notifications. That's been my big thing this year of trying to improve on my end. And then two is that, like I said, your coworker can see when they go to send you a chat message that you are either out of office or have focus time. They can also see when you're in a meeting. It doesn't give the details. It just says in a meeting until 11 a.m. or whatever the case is. So I just think that helps team communication to kind of know, like, is this an emergency? Do I need to reach out to someone else because it needs to be solved right now? Or is it okay if they get back to me in an hour or so? All right, now you can see my dad's social calendar too.
I just wanted to reiterate, I think Maureen said this, but even if you're externally facing and you're putting up your out of office in your like email responder, you still would need to do this if you wanted people internally to see in your chat that you were not available. So for a while, I was only putting up an out of office in my email responder, but not doing the calendar function. And I've started trying to do both so that externally people get my response, but internally the team can see if they're pinging or messaging me. But I know you said that, Mo. I just wanted to reiterate because that was a thing I missed at the beginning when I was using it.
Yeah, that's a good point. Does anyone have any questions or comments or thoughts on that one or Google Calendar in general?
Does this help if the office is trying to get a hold of you about a job you messed up or the drafting, where they'll see, hey, Phil's not responding, but he's out of the office for whatever reason?
Yes, it would. If you, yeah, that is a great example and use case that, you know, I know me and the team in general tries our best to look at the vacation calendar, but sometimes I'm going so fast trying to handle something that I don't think to check there before I send someone a message. But yes, if you were off and you put on your calendar that you were out of office for those days, when someone, whether it's customer support, drafting, field crew, whoever, when they go to send you a chat message, they would see on the chat screen, it would say, when they go to type in their message, it would say, Phil is out of office today, returning 4/3 or whatever the date is.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And then so then my call out for everyone else is to, you know, look for those messages. And if you can, you know, if it is something that can wait, do that. Or if you need someone else, to pull someone else in because it's a time sensitive thing.
Okay, thank you.
Did that answer your question?
It did, yes.
Awesome. Cool. Any other questions on that?
Yeah, I got a question.
Yeah.
Let's say I put it a time for 10 to 12 and I get done a little early. How do I cancel that?
You can just, you can For those, it's not like they're not blocking time for any type of like payroll purposes. It's really just for your own calendar management. So you have a couple options. You can either go in and adjust the time on your calendar so that it, like, if you want like a tracking of just for your own personal use, like that was the time you came back. But if it's no longer relevant anymore, you can also just go into your calendar and delete the whole time block. That's the
Thanks too
quicker.
much.
It's quicker to just delete it. But if you're for your own personal, sometimes I like to like be able to look back at my week and kind of see what I accomplished and what I didn't. So you can adjust the times as well. Awesome. All right. Next is the employee feed. So the employee feed was where Rippling had this integration with Google Chrome so that you could, and I'll flip the slide in a second, so that you could, when you opened a new Chrome tab, you would load into the employee homepage. They stopped supporting that in July-ish, and it finally, I think, just died for everyone. If you still have the employee home launching from Google Chrome, I would love to hear about it because I think it officially died for everyone. But it didn't go totally away, it just relocated. So if you are in Rippling, instead of this apps, which is what it defaults to, you just click on the little feed toggle, and then that is the same information in slightly different format. So you can share posts, you can choose who you share it to, whether it's your team or the whole company. You can see everyone else's posts. Again, another shout out to Tiffany, congratulations. And Melissa had a highlight of our company meeting. And then on the sides here, you can also see who's currently and very shortly upcoming out of office, as well as if we have any new hires who are starting, as well as work anniversaries and birthdays. Paul, congrats on 3 years, and Clay, happy birthday tomorrow. I feel like I had to call out the people that I was using as demos. And then also there's this resource tab here where there's a lot of good links. There's 17 of them. Yours won't have all the edit functions of mine, but you can scroll through them and see everything from health insurance information, benefits booklets, our 401k advisor has a little link to here if you ever want to schedule a meeting with her. Everything's kind of on here. The link to our quarterly donation program is on there as well. And just kind of lots of different resources that we want to keep at your fingertips. So that is the new location of all of that good employee homepage information that no longer, unfortunately, you can't get it to set as a default when you open a new Chrome tab, but you can if you navigate to Rippling on your computer. My one caveat is that I didn't test it out on the app because I'm not signed in on the app, but to see what that looks like for you guys in the field. But on a desktop, you can just travel from the apps, which is where you access your PTO and your health insurance and all of those important things, and just toggle over to the feed, which gives you that employee information. Questions on that? Awesome. Okay. Next, some of these are some different websites that some of them have already been in place. Some of them are new and some of them are coming in the future. So I just wanted to highlight all of these, but we're trying to work on a way, even from the employee feed, you could see we have those like 17 documents. And that's a lot. Like we just have a lot of information that we want to make available to you. And we're always trying to strive to find the way to best get it in front of you in a way that you can easily find it. Because it doesn't matter if we have it, if you can't find it. So I'm going to jump around a little on the order of this page, but the one that everyone is, or not everyone, but a lot of people probably have seen before, is our research website. And we'll just have to do a little share switching. So this is the research website. It is where we have started to accumulate all of the different research resources that we have, different county websites, whether it's for tax maps or surveys or some submittal information, like who to reach out to. There is lots of information on here. It is not complete and it is ever changing. If somebody took the time to go through every single county page and like check all these links, I guarantee you probably 10 to 20% would not work because the counties are always changing what they do. But it at least is a starting point and a kind of a ever evolving resource. We do on the homepage then have this will change a little bit soon, but you can click this Google form here and it will let you resubmit research information. And then when I see that information come through, I double check what's already there. Like if there's a tax map link and you're sending a new tax map link, I check the old one and see if it works. And if it doesn't, I replace it. Or if they both work for different reasons, I put them both on there. So everyone can use this website. It is linked. It is one of those sources that are linked on the employee feed under those resources. But also once you navigate to it once, if you commonly use the research website, I would bookmark it on your web browser. Okay, sorry, give me just a second here. All right. So that is the research website. That one has been up and running for a while through lots of different iterations, and it will continue to evolve. But I really, knowledge is best used when everyone has access to it and it's shared. So people work in different counties commonly. If you can take a look at the research website. If there's something that's not on there and you just know it in your head, that's the place to put it in that link. I can add it to the website, and then if anyone else needs it, it's there as well. All right, one that is newer but is currently active is the SOP website. So we just went through a process where we created SOPs, standard operating procedures, for every department. They are not done. This is like version 1. Some cases, like the survey department is a little further along just because of the changes we've gone through. But we created a website to house all of them. It is also linked from that employee homepage or the Rippling homepage feed. It has also been pushed out to all of your iPads as well as any company managed computers that are on the new system. So you may see it as a new icon on your computers as well. But basically we have survey department, mortgage department, admin, and other. And you can just kind of click through here the relevant department and see, survey department. We've got research, field, calcs, drafting, PS review, as well as plat review checklist, customer service, how to translate and rotate points, and a video walkthrough. So there's lots of different information on here. Similarly with mortgage, some different things that the team has worked through. Admin has accounting, human resources, and sales. These ones are not as built out. You can see there's not as much on this page, but all of the buttons here will link you to the relevant documents. So for example, the survey department flow chart, you can see this is like the walkthrough of we get an order in either through orders or through a phone call, and then how that job works through our system. So lots of good information on there. It's great for we're growing at the moment, and we have a lot of new hires. So if you ever have some downtime, this is a great place to kind of spend a little bit of time and just check out the different documents, whether it's in your department or another department, even our longer term employees. If you don't have much, if you're in the mortgage department and want to just take a look at the survey department, you can see all of their operating procedures and vice versa. Any questions on the SOP website or content?
The LinkedIn survey tracker under employee links at the bottom, you'll see an SOP button on the dashboard page.
Awesome. Yes, thank you. I forgot that one. So yes, also on survey tracker. We try to put it multiple places, but that it's still kind of scattered in different places. And our answer to that is that we are working on a company intranet page that will be kind of like that, the Rippling feed resource list, except that instead of just seeing a list of 17, 20, however many documents we're going to grow to, it will be organized in a way that is easier to navigate and to get to where you're looking rather than having to just read through a list of things. This one is not live yet. It will be. We are currently working on it, and it will soon be launched. But just to give you a little bit of a preview, this will look different once it's launched because we're going to do some changing and making it a little prettier. But basically, it will have everything you need: links to the employee handbook, a recommendation box for any types of like questions. It has the option to make them anonymous, or if you don't want it to be anonymous, you want something to happen or get a response, so you can put your name on there, but just kind of soliciting another place to solicit feedback. It'll have information on Rippling, how to request time off. There is that how to view your vacation calendar, the same steps that we just went through, stuff about deputy timesheets, information about benefits, department specific information, and just kind of like, if you are having trouble finding something and you know it's like a company resource, you can go to, to go to the employee intranet page, and then from there with the categories and everything, you should be able to find it a little easier. That's kind of the intention of this, is that it's really hosting all of the things that any employee needs access to in a more organized way than just having like a list or like a Google Drive that you have to search through. The Google Sites makes it so that we can make it more like a navigable website. Okay. Any questions on any of those resources? Awesome. The SOP website and the research website will also have links within the intranet page once it's up and running. And we will communicate to when that officially launches and is able to be accessed. It just needs a little, I started on it a while ago, so some of the information is out of date. So, all right. Next, we're going to take a look at Google Drive and how to create documents, share documents, access templates, things like that. So if you search how to get to Google Drive, is you type in drive.google.com. You can also just Google search Google Drive and it will take you there. See, I have this video playing on half speed, so it might take a second, some of the steps. Or maybe it froze. Let's see. Let's try it one more time. This is my last pre-recorded video, so this would be where it decides to not work. So everyone should have Google Drive either on their computer or on their tablet. It is an app that you can have. Here we go. So it gets you into your Google Drive. And then if you go into, you have two drives. You have your drive and you have your shared drive. So shared drive is anything that's been created throughout the company, and your drive is like your personal file storage. No one, unless you share something, no one has access to those unless until you would leave the company. At that point, they do get turned over to a manager for just all your files. But outside of that, it's your personal drive unless you share something. So if you go into the shared drive, you can see I have access to all of them. You won't have as many, but you can see all of the company drives here. And then you can go into the relevant one. In this case, we'll go into the company drive. And I'm just going to show you how to, like, our expense templates, letterhead templates, all of those things, like how you can use them without using them from like the main template of them. So you can see here, we've got the letterhead template, and you can, let's see here, open it up. If you click on it, brings up the company letterhead. Now we don't want to type into this one directly. It's actually locked. You can see down here, because this is like the starting point for everyone. So if you type into it, then like the next person who comes in, they're going to see everything that you typed into it. So instead of doing that, you have two options that I go through here. You can either, let's see which one I did first. You can either download it using this little button here, or you can, apparently I was going very slow when I was doing this demo, or you can do this more actions button and you can make a copy of it, which you just click the button, it'll open up this little menu here, and then you just click the make a copy. And it will automatically make a copy in the same same folder that you're currently in. So we'll see it. It's thinking right now. It's creating the copy, and then you'll see we have a copy of McSteen letterhead, and that one is not the locked one. It doesn't have the little lock icon. This is the one that you just created. So then after that, this is the one you want to use. You can go back to your little three-dot menu and where you made a copy from, but instead of making a copy, we are going to click organize and move. And then this is how you can move this copy that you just made into your personal drive or somewhere else that you want it to be. So here, your personal drive is called My Drive. You can click here to see the contents of it. You can put it in a subfolder, or you can just click the little move button, and it will think for a little bit. It will give you a little alert if there's anything you need to read. Usually it's just that access is changing from a shared drive to your drive. In this case, this is exactly what we want to happen. Everyone from who could see it in the company drive will no longer be able to see it because you've moved the copy into your personal drive. The other option is to click download, which again, it's thinking, but it will, download a copy. I have mine auto set to be in my download folder. It can be in different folders depending on what you have your computer settings set as. If you have issues with that, let me know. But then you can just go to your drive, and you're going to click new here, and then you can upload a file. And like I said, mine is saved. Mine is saved in my downloads, so I have to go to my downloads folder. Give it a second to load. And there's that email signature that we just downloaded. It'll take a second to think, and then it pops in. So those are two, both the letterhead and the email signature are two documents that were locked documents stored in the company drive for template use, that in two different methods, either making a copy and moving or downloading and uploading, I have now moved them into my drive where only I have access to them, and they're fully editable. So you can do that for the expense template as well, anything like that. Then if you need to share it with someone, like say it was the expense template and now you need to share it with the accounting email so that you can get reimbursed for it, you go over to this little person with the plus sign, which is the share button. And you can type in anyone. If it's someone within the company, they should pop up when you start typing their name. I was using Molly as my guinea pig. You can either notify them or not notify them. Usually if you're sharing something with someone, you do want them to be notified, which is just an email that it sends to them. And then you can also choose their access. You can make it so that they can only view the document, or that they can make comments, which is like little additions to the document, or that they can be a full editor and kind of work with you on the document. Most things, it defaults to editor. Most of the time you're going to share it as an editor. You can also, if there's a use case, I personally never use this, but you can add an expiration date if you only want them to have access to it for like a week or something. You can send them, put a message in that will go with the email that they get when it's shared. The other option, rather than notifying them that way, is that you can click the copy link as well, and you can get a direct link to the file. But in this case, see what I did here? I did copy the link. It'll tell you copied the link, and then you can just paste that. You can paste it into chat. You can paste it into an email as well. You can kind of put it wherever you'd like. I'm just going to paste it here just so you see what the link looks like. You only need to do one or the other. You don't need to do both of these. I just wanted to show you the two different ways that you can share it. You can either share it with them through the share, which I think is the more straightforward, or you can use the link sharing. I'm going to delete that out since we don't need both of them. And then send off the share. Always takes a second to think. All right, and then we got the access updated confirmation. Then if you want to, if you ever want to see too, you can go look and see that other people have, it's been shared with other people. So if you go back to that share, you can now see, I can share it with other people, but you can also see that I have already shared it with Molly. You can see that from the little 3-dot hamburger menu. You can also see it from the little person with the plus sign share button. And from here, you can also change the access. So I'm like, I shared that with the wrong person, or she no longer needs access to it. You can change whether they are viewer, comment, or editor, or you can remove access altogether. So kicking Molly off of this file, and then it will be effective once you hit the save button. All right. That is a very brief overview of how to access and share files in Google Drive. I tried to do my best to give a simplified but detailed enough that you understand what's happening. But for Google Drive, my best advice is to just play around with it and try it, because that's how you'll get some comfort with it, because there is a lot of functionality in it. Hard for me to show just over one video. But do you guys have any questions or other comments on Google Drive? There's a lot more it can do. There's a lot more stuff to it. So if you guys have any specific questions too, feel free to reach out. I'm happy to help anyone through it. There's stuff about, where can you access it from, some different settings, things like that, that I just didn't want to get all the way into today.
One thing that I was going to suggest
Yes.
was that when you log into Rippling, or you're logging your time in like Deputy, just get into a habit of going down into the feed, to check to see who is off, for the day, or, check your calendar. You're already within Rippling, just a good habit to get into.
Yeah, that's good advice. Make it part of your routine. I know personally, I live and die by my calendar, so that's that's why I like having the vacation there, is because that's where I check every day. But if you're not looking at your calendar as often, yeah, the employee file, employee home feed has lots of good resources, and just a quick glance at it.
Right. Or you can see whose birthday it is and
yes,
give them a shout out or whatever.
That is what I don't have on my calendar yet. I got to go to the employee feed for that.
Right.
Okay, last just quick topic of the day is Google Computer Login. So this has been starting last week, is being rolled out across the company. It will take a little bit of time until everyone has it, but the change here is that instead of having a computer username and a computer password that you log in with, you will, as we make our transition through this process, you will use your Google login information to log into your computer. It helps to simplify. You don't need as many passwords. You can just use the same one. The other thing is that the Google login is super secure. They are obviously very large company, and they have certain processes and security measures in place. And so we can kind of piggyback off of their security and use that rather than having to have either our system exposed or to spend a lot of time and money trying to make ours more secure. So that will be happening. I think some people already last week, Jason from Transform was helping with those transitions. There's some other computers that I know still need to be refitted for that. We're focusing on Windows users right now. And then later we're exploring how to have the same happen for Mac users. So stay tuned. I imagine over the next 2 to 3, 6 months, everyone will have transitioned to this Google login. Like I said, just simplifies, less passwords needed, as well as there's some increased security and better device management too. It's a little easier for our IT support company to manage everything from a Google home base rather than having to do Google and Mac and Windows and kind of everything. So it helps on that side too. All right, that is all of the topics that I had scheduled for today. It took me 10 minutes longer than I expected, so there was a lot there. But just opening it up for questions, whether it is on any of the tech platforms that we talked about, any other tech platforms, any questions in general, feedback on how the presentation went as well. You can tell it to me now, but you can also send it to me offline. I'm always trying to improve for everyone. So questions in general, anyone have anything? Thanks, Kat, for the heart. Is there any tech platform that we use consistently across the company that we didn't cover that you guys would like to see explanations of? Even if we don't cover it in a town hall, there's other ways that we can get that information out. Awesome. I will take silence as that I did 100% A+ job today. Cool. All right. Well, I will stick around in case there are any questions, but that's all the content we have for today. So you guys can log off if you'd like to. Thank you guys for joining. We've got like more than half the company with us. So I always appreciate seeing everyone just, logging on and seeing if this is a topic that can help them.